Okay, to create this Lifesaver, we're going to learn a couple new tools that we've not used before, and some of that we have. So to start, you'll start with a new part. Remember, your first step is always going to be right-click New Component where it says Unsaved. We'll make sure this component is active. I will rename this as Lifesaver. To start this, we're going to start with a new sketch. I'm going to select my vertical plane here. In my case, it's my YX plane. Yours might be different, but it should be this plane here. If it doesn't end up being, we'll make it work. Now to create this tool, or create this shape, we're actually going to use our rectangle tool, but not this 2-point. We're going to come down to Create and select a different rectangle tool. There are different options here. We're going to use our center rectangle. This is the other really useful rectangle tool. I'm going to make sure I'm on this red line here, which is my axis. Even if I'm not, I'll show you how to correct that. So I draw a rectangle out. I'm going to use my horizontal vertical tool to select this point here and my origin point, which will line those up so I know it's on that axis. Then I'll use my dimension tool. This dimension here, right now it's currently a little too long. This should be 0.309, and the height of this rectangle is going to be 0.151. Let me zoom back in on this since I'm pretty zoomed out since it was larger than it needed to be. I like to move these dimensions a little closer just so I can see them when I move in. I'm also going to dimension the distance from the edge of this rectangle to the origin point. This is going to be 0.148. Okay. Now to create the actual rounded shape that we see here for a Lifesaver, right? If we look at it kind of sideways here, we see that it is rounded here and then flat. We're going to use our ellipse tool. So not a circle, but we're going to come to Create again and choose Ellipse. To use this tool, I'm going to select this point in the center of my rectangle. Then you can see I have essentially a line tool that's active. I'm going to draw that out again on that axis here, that red line, and I'll click to place it, and I'll again click to place the ellipse. Then I'll come grab my dimension tool. How I dimension the ellipse, I'm going to select the center of my ellipse and the outside right here. This is my major axis. My major axis dimension is going to be 0.142. And then I'm going to choose the center of my ellipse in the bottom. And this is my minor axis of the ellipse. This dimension is going to be 0.103. And yes, it is bigger than the rectangle. Then I'm going to use my trim tool, another new tool we have not used yet, but this is a very useful one. You can see the shortcut for it is T. So when I select that, what I can do is trim parts of a line that I don't want. So I know I don't want this line, in here, this line, and these dash lines are construction lines. It's okay if I delete those, they're just there for reference. And you know what, I'm going to actually trim out those construction just so they're not there as well. So you should be left with this shape here. I can then go Finish Sketch. I should have a sketch that looks like this. Now the new tool I'm going to use that we've not used yet is going to be this Revolve tool. Anytime you have anything circular, this is a really good tool to use. This should be one of the first tools you think of using. When I select it, it automatically selected my shape here, or my sketch, because I only had that sketch. I then need to choose an axis to revolve around. Now since I did offset this rectangle a distance from that center origin point, I can choose this vertical axis here. Once I do want the angle to be 360 degrees or all the way around. I can click OK, and there is my Lifesaver. If I wanted to change the color, again, I come down to Modify, Appearance, and I could search for a color. Let's say I like the red ones. Let's say this is nice red, and there is my red Lifesaver. At this point, I can go save. I would save it with my initials and then Lifesaver. And I can save it.